Hey, it's a short week. We got another game day to talk about. The 49ers play the Rams. Jason Aponte, Andrew Pasquini, Spirit Right After Podcast. Play our music.
Burp. 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 Burp.
All right, we are live. It is a new Spirit Right Option podcast. I know you guys saw us last night, but we are back once again, this time to talk 49ers Rams proper. I'm Andrew Pasquini in a wet and cloudy Sacramento,
Hey,
California.
yo.
That's Jason Aponte. Don't know what the weather's like over in Jersey right now because all I see is what's behind Jason Aponte. But Jason, how's your Thursday afternoon going out there?
Excellent, man. It's game day. I am so excited for this game. And I know that's a strong departure from how everyone else is feeling about this game, but I cannot wait to watch this game. I am locked in.
Well, it's Niners Rams, so already we're hyped up for it, right? This is kind of become the rivalry, not replacing Seattle, but it's become the big rivalry at the top of the NFC West. The Niners and Rams have kind of been switching off the past couple of years. The Seahawks not quite there yet, but still a big rivalry out, with the Seahawks. But this has been the big rivalry, especially since the addition of Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. That coaching tree. There's stories, there's connections. Maybe we're stealing signs again. I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening anymore. But Niners Rams, it's always a game to be excited about.
Always. And this game is particularly exciting because of the doom and gloom and the history behind when the 49ers play the Rams off of losses. And, Andrew's going to go through it, but particularly egregious losses. Like sky is falling losses, before this. And obviously different quarterbacks at different times and all those things. But, when you have 5 years of historical data, regardless of who the quarterback is, the coach remains the same. Why are we not paying attention to that? And, and other things like, I'll ask this, Andrew. You ever watch an NFL game and you say, and we joke around on Twitter like, ha ha ha, this team is struggling with this team. Man, they must be bad. But we lose the plot and the sight of the things that team does to give that other team trouble that has kept this game close. And that's going to be the theme of what goes on in this game. How many times have we looked up and said, oh, this team is struggling with this team, they must be bad? No, styles make fights in the NFL, and this is exactly what I'm going to lay out here in this game as well, too. I've been optimistic all week. You guys know where I'm going with this or whatever, but for sure, there is a pathway, and I'm going to lay it out in chapter and verse.
Jason Aponte giving me goosebumps on lunchtime. I love it when he hits the styles make fights. Ooh, that's how you know it's a big game when Jason Aponte's talking styles makes fights, and it's one of my favorite things. But Jason, let's start with that. You already mentioned it. I'll let you kind of take over because you wrote about it at NinersNation.com. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but as I said, since this is the Rams preview proper, yesterday wasn't really the Rams preview. Talk about the 49ers' recent history, especially when we're considering the Niners are coming off of a loss and facing the Rams. And I know you could go even one deeper of the Niners coming off of a loss, facing the Rams on primetime television. There's history there between these two teams, Jason. So I'll let you run with it.
So look, the Rams have won the last three against the 49ers. But remember, one of them was absolutely Carson Wentz against Sam Darnold. So do we care about that game? Also, by the way, that game was a 1-point victory for the Rams. So we don't care about that one. The last two, obviously, the 49ers were absolutely decimated by injuries last season. Funny enough, they won those games by 3 points, and I think we could say the 49ers should have won that game if Ronnie Bell knows how to catch. By the way, who didn't play in that game? George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk wasn't all the way back. Deebo Samuel didn't play in that game. Christian McCaffrey didn't play in that game. We're starting to get it? Okay, they lost that game by 3 points. They lose the next one by 6 in a rain-soaked game in 2024 where the 49ers gave up 9 points on defense. And no Ricky Pearsall to the way that we saw. He did play in this game, but that's not the guy that we've seen today. Juwan Jennings is the other guy. Dre Greenlaw leaves that matchup. You get where I'm going with this? Like, you get where I'm going? Okay.
If a slant route gets caught by Deebo Samuel, maybe we're talking a Niner win.
Thank you. Okay. 2019, the San Francisco 49ers obviously make the Super Bowl, but they do have a letdown loss to the Atlanta Falcons following a thrilling victory over the New Orleans Saints, and they beat the Jared Goff-led Rams 34-31. That's 2019, off of a loss. Remember that. And it's a Saturday night primetime game. I want
I
you to
believe that was
remember
a
that.
Manuel Sanders game-winning catch. I believe
Yes,
it was.
I want you to remember. I want you to remember that Saturday night primetime game following a loss, and that's a shorter week, not the shortest week, but a shorter week. 2020, no Nick Bosa, no starting quarterback. The 49ers get embarrassed in the Brian Allen game that we will all remember in Miami. 43-17. Season's over. Niners are cooked. Sunday Night Football, 24-16. Primetime game. Off of a loss. 49ers win. The Niners lose to New Orleans and get a bye week. Guess who they play? Nick Mullins is starting. The Rams, 23-20. For what it's worth, the 2020 San Francisco 49ers didn't have Nick Bosa and had Robert Saleh as their defensive coordinator. So if you want to pick that up, let's make sure we add that as well. 2021, Colt McCoy and the Arizona Cardinals absolutely whip the San Francisco 49ers. And the sky's falling. They're 3-5. Season's over.
And they just lost to Colt McCoy, Jason.
How did you lose to a backup quarterback? This team is cooked. Monday Night Football, primetime game. 31-10 San Francisco 49ers. Another win in primetime following an egregious loss. 2022. Egregious loss back-to-back. The pick 8 play in Denver. Jimmy Garoppolo's back. We're back to playing 49ers football. Yeah, which means we're losing to the Denver Broncos on primetime. Monday Night Football, primetime against the Rams. 24-9 victory after an embarrassing Denver loss with their backup quarterback starting. Remember that. Jimmy Garoppolo was the backup.
Yep.
That same season, the Kansas City Chiefs absolutely torch the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, we're cooked. We can't stay on the field with the Kansas City Chiefs. They did just trade for Christian McCaffrey. I want to put that out there. This one not a primetime game. San Francisco 49ers 31-14. Now, you're wondering why I'm not talking about 2023 and 2024. 2023, the 49ers were fine. Because obviously the game didn't matter, that last game. So I consider that a sweep. I don't care. I'm making shit up now. We're going with positivity. And 2024, the Rams swept the 49ers. So that's fine. But what my point is this. When you look at all of these results over the last 5 years, the only team that blows out the other one is the 49ers blowing out the Rams. The Rams don't blow out the San Francisco 49ers regardless of the circumstances. That has not happened. That has not happened in the last 5 years. Not once has that team won by more than one score against the 49ers. Conversely, the 49ers have beaten them by more than one score plenty of times. This game, 8.5 points, absolutely the 49ers are going to cover that. Now all of a sudden the Rams are going to blow out the 49ers when they've been in dire situations like this? No, and no. So we're going to start there. This game is going to be a one-score game and be far closer than anybody is. Everybody that's picking 31-16, 38-12, whatever it is, whatever nonsensical score that you're throwing out there, throw that shit out. That's not going to happen today. 8.5 is the easiest amount of money that I'm ever going to make tonight on this game.
I like it, Jason. And you specifically mentioned how close it is for the Rams to have to beat the Niners. The Niners blow out the Rams. And that's all the past. But let's talk about 2025, Jason. The Niners have made a habit of one-possession games. We've talked about it. They've played 4 one-possession games. The Rams also have the same habit. They've played 3 one-possession games in their 4 weeks. A 14-9 win over the 1-3 Houston Texans. So that's a tight one. They lose defense. They lose 33-26 to the Eagles. That's a one-possession game. By the way, they're up 26-7 in the third quarter in that game. And then they beat the Colts in a one-possession game that they were trailing by 7 with, I think, 4 minutes left in the game. And they go on a 14-0 run to take the victory. But then you even look at the one possession win. They beat the Titans 33-19, the 0-4 Tennessee Titans. The Rams only had a 4-point lead going into that fourth quarter. So we could talk about the 49ers, they're not blowing teams out. They're making the Saints look competitive, yada, yada, yada. But the Rams have done the same thing. They barely beat the Texans, who've struggled all year. They had a 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter against a bad Titans team. They blow a lead against a good Eagles team. So for everybody who's been very doom and gloom, and admittedly me, until Jason Aponte hyped me up yesterday a little bit about this, I felt the same of like, hey, this doesn't feel like it's going to be close. But the Rams haven't been beating anybody out or blowing anybody out that much at all this season, and unless you want to count the Titans game, but even then that was a close game within itself. So I feel like a lot of things. I don't want to use the term lining up, but it feels like a lot of things could line up tonight. And again, like maybe I started the conversation about Mac Jones, but I think what a lot of Niner Twitter has to do is remove what we remember of Mac Jones from the 2021 NFL draft and all the things that people said about him because they wanted Trey Lance, they wanted Justin Fields, they wanted whoever. Remove that because we have 2 games of evidence that Mac Jones is at minimum going to keep this offense on schedule. At minimum, he's likely not going to turn the ball over. He's only thrown 1 interception compared to 4 that Purdy's thrown in 2 games. So if there's anything that you can trust that's going to happen tonight, is it's likely going to be a close game. And Mac Jones is probably going to keep the Niners offense on schedule and not turn the ball over. And those combinations could mean a 49ers win.
And that's what's funny is, and especially going back to watching the Colts game, because I didn't sleep at all last night because I wanted to make sure I got my talking points in order, aside from just saying, hey, these are vibes. Like I have like legitimate ways that the 49ers can win this game, and where I'll tell you this, they actually have an advantage against this Rams offense. And you're not going to believe what way that is. But when I was watching that Colts game, Adonai Mitchell fumbles at the 1. Yep. And that's a touchdown. It should be a touchdown. And then the Tutu Atwell play, the Colts have 10 players on the field. Now, I do applaud them for being forward thinking and thinking, hey, they'll never see this coming. But, like, they were on the brink of all those things. You mentioned the Titans game. That Titans game was week 1, so we can throw that out and just say, hey, it's week 1. This is how it goes. But you know what else I'm going to point to? That Texans game, and here's why. Is DeMeco Ryans and his defense not familiar with what the Rams are trying to do? Is Robert Saleh completely foreign to what the Rams are trying to do? No. So that familiarity, divisional game, that's what's going to lend itself to this game being as close as it is. Yes, roster-wise, you would love to see the 49ers offense have more people. I'm going to lay out how the offense does it. But defensively, the San Francisco 49ers, again, without Nick Bosa, they're healthy. Ronaldo Green's back. Everybody that is a starter that is not Nick Bosa on this defense will be playing in this game. So the defense, that's what's going to be the way that this team is really going to shift this game. And again, Matthew Stafford's going to throw you one. You've got to come down with it. If you can turn the ball over, if you can slow down the run game, and I do think there's a path to all of these things. And trust me, I stayed up all night. Maybe I drank too much coffee. Maybe I should have been drinking, brown liquor or something. But I just don't see, like, the way that it's just like, oh, my God, the 49ers are completely outmatched and outgunned. You may look at the names on the roster and say, yes, you wish you had that type of firepower. But still, you haven't considered all the things that can happen and what the 49ers are going to be able to exploit in this game.
Let's start on the defensive side of the ball and something positive that I think we could kind of run with. I mentioned it yesterday, Jason, but the Niners, obviously there was concerns with the pass rush against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I mentioned yesterday, and I mentioned NinersNation.com this morning, numbers to know, Jason, is Trevor Lawrence has the lowest pressure rate in the NFL, 7.9%. He's pressured on 7.9% of dropbacks. So it's an issue of, it was the Niners pass rush that bad, or was Jacksonville's offensive line that good? I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's a combination of the two. I'm not going to sit here and say the Niners pass rush is perfect right now. Obviously not. But you have a much better chance to get after Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's been pressured on 22.1% of his dropbacks, about three times higher than what Trevor Lawrence has. This feels like a chance to really solidify kind of what the Niners pass rush is going to be from here on out, because I think you're going to face more Rams offensive lines than you're going to face the Jaguars offensive line, because I think 7.9 was the lowest pressure rate by a wide margin. I think the next closest is like 12%. So Trevor Lawrence has been very well protected back there. So that's, to me, it's going to be the key, because I really trust the back end of the Niners defense. I know we talked about the safety struggles yesterday, but like, you have those linebackers. The cornerbacks have been playing well. I know Upton Stout's kind of had a up and down season. I'm leaning more towards he's an up than a down. But Upton, Stout, up. Trying to workshop there, but nothing was there, Jason. We tried. We still got to figure out the voice of the injury goblin, Jason.
Well, I know that's true, and it's 3:00 on Thursday. We're doing a walkthrough.
Yeah, we're good. We're walking through right now. Walking through for the live podcast after the game. But I trust the back end of this Niners defense more than I trust the front end, but this is going to be the game where you see what the Niners front end could actually look like, because the Rams offensive line doesn't protect Stafford as well as Jaguars protect Trevor Lawrence.
I've watched the Rams tape, and I've got good news for you, San Francisco 49ers fans. The Rams offensive line is what you think the 49ers offensive line is. That's how bad they are in pass protection. They are what you think the San Francisco 49ers offensive line is in pass protection. The 49ers offensive line is better than the Rams offensive line. Mm-hmm. Point blank. In any metric, eye test, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay? Now, here's something funny. We look at the 49ers injury report and we say, oh my God, they're missing all these people. The Rams' worst offensive lineman is out for this game, meaning the backup to the worst offensive lineman on their team is going to be in. I want to go through Rob Havenstein's numbers, and he's not playing in this game. He's doubtful. In 154 pass blocking snaps, 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits, 12 hurries, 16 pressures. If that was any San Francisco 49er player, you would want that man tar and feathered. But let's go further. Kevin Dotson, guard. 10 pressures, 8 hurries, 1 quarterback hit, 1 sack. Not good. Alaric Jackson, who is their best offensive lineman. 9 pressures, 6 hurries, 2 hits, 1 quarterback sack. Justin Dedich, 8 pressures, 5 hurries, 3 hits. This is a huge Bryce Huff game. Yeah. This is a huge Bryce Huff game. This is going to be a huge Bryce Huff game. What they need to do is, and I was looking at Bryce Huff's numbers, he does play on either side. They move him, LEO, REO, both sides. But they need to attack whoever that backup tackle is. You know, go after them. And this is a good point, Tony. They did play the Eagles. That's fine. But they also got their ass kicked by the Titans. They also got their ass kicked by the Texans. You know, Danielle Hunter's really good too. I understand what's going on here. And I think that what happened last week when you saw the blitz rate is you're watching a team that had a game plan because Renardo Green wasn't in there to play a far more laid-back scheme in terms of zone to protect Darrell Luter Jr.
Yep.
And when you rush 4 against a very good offensive line, you're not going to get there without Nick Bosa. It's not how it works. Now let's flip it. And this is either good or bad in your eyes. The 49ers are far more comfortable in playing man with Renardo Green and taking their chances and blitzing more. You can guarantee the San Francisco 49ers are going to blitz Matthew Stafford far more than they did against the Jaguars because the idea was to protect a secondary member that they didn't want to hang out to dry in man coverage. Now, whether you believe in Renardo Green or not, that's fine, and that's completely up to you. But Robert Saleh and his defense do. And you can create those opportunities and you're going to blitz more. The way that the 49ers are going to slow down this offense is twofold. 1, you're going to have to pressure and get Matthew Stafford there. 2, you're going to make Davante Adams beat you. You cannot have Puka Nacua go crazy for 14, 15 catches. I don't think that Robert Saleh is going to allow that to happen. And whatever that looks like, whether it's... So, here's the other way. Cover 1 man is the best way to bracket somebody. And here's how. The single high safety is the one that comes down onto Puka. No matter where he is, he can come down into the slot outside. That is schematically the way that you bracket. Cover 2, cover 3, you can have an underneath and an over the top. That's not necessarily a bracket. It's just muddying the picture. But if you're talking about going after Puka and putting him there, now, the problem is Davante Adams is still very good. And that is still going to rear its ugly head. I mean, his prop is 55.5 receiving yards. I took the over. Because I do think they're going to be fine with Davante Adams getting his, but you can't allow Puka to. So here's how you lay it out on defense. You are going to blitz more. You feel comfortable with a guy who's been in man and that you feel good about. You're going to take the wins and losses that you have with Renardo Green against Davante Adams, but you focus everything else on Puka and you bring your cover 1 man to actually cover him. Puka's going to have 6 catches, 7 catches, but it has to be 6, 7 catches for 85 yards, 90 yards. It can't be 12 for 170. Like, you cannot have those explosive plays. So this is how you have to do it. There's a pathway. The 49ers defense is as healthy as it's going to get without Nick Bosa. And this offensive line is ripe for the picking. Now, how do you combat that? Matthew Stafford gets the ball out very fast. But if he's getting the ball out very fast, these aren't long developing routes that are going to be explosive plays now, are they? It's because you've got to get it out quickly and you rally to the football. So this is how it's going to go. Yes, you can say Matthew Stafford's going to get the ball out because he understands that he needs to mitigate the offensive line. Fine. But that's going to slow down the big explosive plays. Everything's going to be in front of the 49ers. Rally to the football and tackle. So again, this game is going to get slowed down. This game is going to be, quick passes, like explosive plays aren't going to be on the table here in this game because that's how you have to do it. I hope this makes you feel better, 49ers fans. I really do.
And it's going to have to be a strength in numbers thing on the defensive line. It can't just be Bryce Huff being the one doing everything himself. It's got Michael Williams has got to pop a little bit. Kalia Davis has had a hell of a season so far, and I expect him to make an impact player too here or there tonight. But then you got to get lower on it. You want to see a Gross Matos play. You want to see a Sammy O play. Like you're going to need a little bit of everything. And Jason, you mentioned don't let Puka Nacua beat you. It's just so funny how this Rams offense has evolved because a couple years ago we were talking about just don't let Cooper Kupp beat you. Don't let Cooper Kupp beat you. And now it's the same thing, just a different player where they have a high volume receiver and you almost hope in a weird way, you hope you see more Devontae Adams than you do Puka Nacua because Devontae Adams is very, very good. It's just where Puka Nacua is in his career. I think he's a better option. Obviously the Rams agree. But you're sitting there looking at those target numbers, and we're talking about how the Niners offense really only uses Christian McCaffrey and Ricky Pearsall. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams have combined for 85 of the 133 passes thrown by Stafford this season. So it's heavily them too. And if you have to pick your poison between the two, I think you'd rather have it be Devontae beating you than Puka because Puka leads the league in every receiving stat other than touchdowns right now. 42 receptions through 4 games is an insane rate.
And he's on pace to shatter the Triple Crown record that Cooper Kupp set. Shatter. He's not even ahead of the pace. He's 14 catches ahead of that pace. That's how good he's been.
Well, if we're doing the math, it's roughly 160 receptions for 2,000 yards right now. That's the pace Puka Nacua is playing on. And I know it's early season and paces change, but that's what you've seen from Puka Nacua so far. So it's not going to be an easy challenge. No doubt about it, Jason. We're not trying to sit here and say the Niners defense is going to cook. It's just this is the path. These are the pathways of beating this Rams offense because this Rams offense is beatable. And we've seen it. We've seen Stafford make a silly throw here and there, right? What was it? It was the Monday night game. Jimmy Ward had the interception. It was Stafford's first throw of the game where he just kind of threw it up. And I think actually it was Tart that came down with it or so whoever came down with it.
Don't say his name in a Rams preview. I don't want the chat to start being.
You're right.
Because they were already blaming him for Sunday's game because he was in the building when the guys were dropping all passes. And I'm just you guys are so rude, man.
So mean. It's almost weird the Niners had to rework their safety room since getting rid of Tart and Ward, but that's another conversation for another day, Jason Aponte. But yeah, we're not trying to tell you that the Niners defense is going to dominate tonight, but there are pathways. There are absolutely pathways for the Niners defense to dominate tonight.
Yeah, again, if Matthew Stafford's getting the ball out, these aren't explosive plays then. These are slants, they're overs, they're underneaths, and then everything is rally to the ball and tackle. That's literally, again, what's crazy about what I'm saying. Well, I'm not even coming from this at a place of blind faith. This is the strategy, and if I'm noticing this, I certainly hope that our genius defensive coordinator is noticing this, and I'm sure that he does know what the hell they're about to run at him, and he's far better than he was in 2020. So yes, this is how the 49ers are going to play. Is they're going to be aggressive blitzing because they know that they're not going to be able to get there with 4, and they don't want Stafford hanging back there and picking apart, cover 3. I think they felt that they had a far better chance at doing that and confusing Trevor Lawrence because he's a dum dum, but that's not Matthew Stafford, and he has the arm to make up for sometimes when that's like that. But you have to get in his face and you have to limit the time that he has to let those long routes develop. If you turn them into a team that is throwing the football short, then you stop them short of the sticks. Now, the key to all that is slowing down the run defense, and the 49ers have been okay against the run.
Yeah.
But again, with the way this offensive line blocks, they're not exactly lighting the world on fire right now. But you have to be aware of Kyron Williams catching the ball out of the backfield. But this is the pathway. I'm not even making shit up. I'm not even just making things up on the fact that it's just like, oh, the Niners own the Rams and there's no Rams fans. I'm actually trying to talk X's and O's and scheme, like how this can actually work.
Let's flip it over to the other side of the ball now, because I think that's where a lot of the conversation for tonight is going to come from, Jason. The 49ers are without 5 week 1 starters. No Purdy, no Kittle, no Barch, no Jennings, no Pearsall. Obviously, the big ones there are Purdy, Pearsall, and Jennings, just ruled out yesterday for tonight's game. The Niners offense is going to look a little different, significantly different. So, Jason, what is the key for the offense to stay moving tonight?
Oh my God, ball control and no turnovers. If you turn the football over in this game, forget it, man. Like you're not gonna have any chance. Like you have to play the cleanest of clean games. And how are you gonna do that? Well, you obviously look up front and you say, hey, that pass rush is dominant. Yes, the Rams pass rush is incredible. Yes, but everything that has to be schemed out of this game, and this is going to be similar to what I just talked about with the Rams, has to be quick throws, has to be underneath throws, has to be screen passes, has to keep the offense on schedule. If you find yourself in 3rd and 12 and 3rd and 10, and you're in trouble. But if you're keeping this offense, again, the singles. Now this offense has to turn into taking the singles. No doubles. You don't want to turn this into, hey, listen, we're getting over the top. Like maybe you want one big play that you can score a touchdown on, but you don't want to get into this, hey, we had a quick offensive possession and scored, because now you're going to start going back and forth. That's not what you want. What you want this game to get ugly. You want this game to be slow. You want this game to be, a test of wills and who's going to stay disciplined and see who breaks. This is how the 49ers have to do it. You have to attack the linebackers. You have to choose your underneath routes. Mac Jones has to be very pretty with the football in this game. There cannot be any lapses in with turnovers, anything like that. Maybe you can survive one turnover, but if you're turning this football game over, you're turning this football over 2-3 times, you have no shot at winning this game. So again, I am asking the 49ers to, and this might be the reason that I'm so hopeful, is because Mac is not going to put the ball in harm's way. Mac is going to take the free money. Mac is the person that can operate this type of offense that is needed. You want explosives? Fine. I understand that. This is not the game to try and get all into a track meet, and I don't think you have the offensive personnel to get that done either. But it has to be underneath throws to Christian McCaffrey on linebackers. It has to be when you move Tonjes over and you're taking advantage of those 2 linebackers that they have that cannot cover. You have to construct a game plan that is going to keep the 49ers moving the football forward. If the positive play is 3 yards, take the 3 yards and go. If the positive play is 2 yards, take the 2 yards and go. If you run a bunch of plays and your drive stalls out, but you've taken 6-7 minutes off the clock and you can punt and make the Rams start from further down, then fine. Take your wins where you just can't have turnovers in this game. You have to slow this game down to make it annoying, gritty, dirty, and slimy. And you're going to have to do that on offense by playing ball control.
And a key thing to playing ball control, Jason, is that run game working how we're used to it working. Christian McCaffrey, the wide receiver, has been very solid this season. The Christian McCaffrey, the running back, not so much. He's averaging a career low 3.3 yards per attempt right now. 69 attempts for 225 rushing yards. And give you an idea, Christian, that's 19 more rushing attempts than McCaffrey had last season. He only has 23 more yards on those 19 extra attempts. So that's just kind of put into context how different he looks compared to last season. Jason, how does Christian McCaffrey get going on the ground tonight? Is it as simple as offensive line block better? Is it as simple as Christian McCaffrey just needs that burst? I have a feeling it's somewhere in the middle, Jason Aponte. But how do the Niners get Christian McCaffrey, the running back, working tonight?
Screen passes. I don't think this is the game that we're just going to find out that the 49ers have figured out the elixir on how to run. Especially given the fact that the Rams are not fearing on the outside anything over the top. This just brings them closer to the line of scrimmage. Like, I'm not going to – look, I'm optimistic. I'm laying out a plan. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, yeah, and by the way, this is the game when the 49ers run offense gets going. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in this one. What you need to do is show the run. You need to at least show that you're going to stick with the run. But everything that you're going to do to get Christian McCaffrey involved and get him going is screen passes, is going to be on routes underneath against linebackers, and is going to be him winning as a receiver in this game. I cannot state that any clearer. The 49, look, and the Rams' run defense isn't exactly world beaters either. But when you look at the cascading effects of not having any of these guys to throw the football to, they're literally going to just jump up and run right up to the right up to the line of scrimmage. This is not the game the 49ers are going to be able to run the football, but you want to show the run. You want to be able to show that you're not going to go away from it. And then perhaps if you can string together a run or two and then you can take your shot on a play action play, like everything is going to go off of that, but I just don't see this being the week for that, given how banged up they are, given how this run offense hasn't been, clicking even when people were playing. I just think that this game has to be more of Mac and this passing offense being short, being extensions of the run game, and finding a way with underneath throws to essentially on first down, if you get a 4-yard gain on a pass, that's your first run. That's a run play, basically. But again, like the more that you throw the football, the more that you have a chance of putting it in harm's way. But everything has to be coordinated with short throws, and I think that's how you're going to have to run the football.
Yeah, and the Rams, the defensive line's pretty versatile. I know they got a lot of rep for pass rushers. Jared Verse, very good second-year pass rusher, Byron Young, but they're pretty good, at least in the run game as well, especially with the addition of Poona Ford, which I don't know why the Chargers let him get out of the building. But Jason, in terms of the pass game, is there any member of the Rams secondary you think the Niners should go after specifically with their lack of receivers? Is there anybody they should target in that Rams secondary?
The cornerbacks are fine, and I don't think that they're not. You can't just pick on them with Demarcus Robinson and Kendrick Bourne. Like I don't think that that's possible, right? Like I don't like if this game was with Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings, and all these other guys, then I think that's how you probably will look at it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the path to victory is Mac Jones coordinating throws to Demarcus Robinson and Kendrick Bourne against any one matchup. So I really think this is going to boil down to Jake Tonjes and over the middle of the field and Christian McCaffrey. I know that sounds insane. But you're not going to force a round hole into a round peg into a square hole, right? Like just because you feel that those cornerbacks are susceptible to whatever, you just don't have the guys to match it and actually exploit it. What you have is two guys that can exploit the middle of the field against linebackers and the middle of the field. And historically, that's exactly what Kyle Shanahan has exploited against Sean McVay and any of the defense and any of the iterations of that defense under Raheem Morris, under the guy that they have now. I do like the Rams play caller a lot. I do think that he's actually really good. But that's historically where you need to attack, even when you had all the weapons. So I don't see that changing, especially when you look at the lack of weapons. I'm not going to be looking for the 49ers to throw the football outside the numbers, continuously just throw outside the numbers like that. I just don't think that's the pathway to win.
Jason, there is one aspect that the Niners are better than the Los Angeles Rams in, and that is special teams, surprisingly, right? There's numbers that came out that the Rams were among the worst special teams units in the league. Do you think maybe this is the game where the Niners special teams makes a game-changing play themselves? Let me rephrase that, Jason. A positive game-changing play themselves instead of a negative one? Do you think this might be the one?
If the 49ers get anything positive on special teams, I'm talking about a block kick, or I'm talking about even a decent return, or then you're cooking with gas. But I think what the 49ers have to do is just be normal. Zero. Nothing. Don't give anything up. Don't do too much. Just cover. Just cover on the punts. Make sure you're not getting gashed. Make sure they don't run any stupid fake fucking punt like Sean McVay always does when the Rams are up against it, and all of a sudden they pull something out of the bag and the 49ers have no idea. Like you have to be on guard for that, especially when the 49ers are, keeping the game close. But it just don't lose the game. Like and I know I'm asking for a lot. And I think with the Rams numbers, you want to look at it this way. the two block field goals obviously have knocked their numbers down in terms of, you know, the analytics and everything as well too. What they are good at is apparently they do have a kicker who has some sort of knuckle punt or knuckleball, whatever it is, that actually works. And you heard Kyle Shanahan talk about it, so you know it's not a myth. It's not something that's, well, I mean, it was a myth when it was Mitch Wisnowski because that never actually happened. But he did notice all those things. So what they're doing is they're putting opponents within inside the 20. And that's the problem, right? Like I don't want the 49ers offense having to go 90 yards to move down the field. Like, that's not going to be the way that you're going to, like, you know, cool if you do, because it's going to take you 18 plays and it's probably going to take you a whole half to get down the field if we're, you know, being, if we're being, you know, happy and optimistic. But just, it has to be net zero. And the reason that I bring that up is just cover, tackle, you know, that's it. Just don't do anything dumb, and make sure you please watch for that McVay fake punt, because if you stop them 3 and 4 times in that offense, you can guarantee that they're going to go in the bag and do that because they've done it so many times against the Niners.
Jason, that first of all, thank you. The recovery 717 Jason. So you're telling me there's a chance, yeah, and I think that's if we were to title this episode, I think that's the best way to title it. Is so you're telling me, yeah, there's absolutely a chance. The recovery 716, there absolutely is a chance tonight. And again, I want to reiterate too. Like, I know we've memed Mac Jones in the past because of draft stuff, but you kind of got to feel confident about him. And again, we kind of joked about it yesterday, Jason, but best case scenario is tonight we have to maybe address quarterback controversy. We're not going to say quarterback controversy, but I'm sure there ideally people would want a quarterback. That'll be the best case scenario for tonight, right? Because if we're not talking quarterback controversy, then it went real bad tonight. So that's where I'm at with it, Jason. But yes, there's absolutely a chance. Jason, I know you did a lot looking into this game. So before we kind of dive into prediction preview stuff, I want to make sure you got your entire bag emptied here. If there's anything that I did not cover that you wanted to touch on, because I per sources, you stayed up all night, and the sources are you said it at the start of the episode. So I want to make sure that you got everything out there that you wanted to get out on this episode.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I'm not mad at anybody if you're saying, you know, I don't think, you know, the 49ers are going to, you know, win this game. I'm not mad at you. This is an uphill battle. What I'm laying out more than anything is that there's a path. Mm-hmm. And this is Rams 49ers, and those games are always muddy like that, right? It's funny with everything that's said too, and we want to add this stuff into it. The way McVay coaches against the 49ers is completely different than when he coaches against other teams. Mm-hmm. And he does coach a little bit more to the vest and keeping things a little close, right? And these games always find a way of playing themselves out to this. And about Mac Jones, I want to say this. While no one will ever, I mean, Batman can't hang me from a building and say that I would rather have Mac Jones starting the entire season than Brock Purdy. I do believe to execute this game plan with the cast of members that they have, Mac Jones is the perfect quarterback for this moment. And what I mean by that is, if the game is going to be short, precise throws, get the ball out fast, operate the offense, manage the game, this is exactly the guy that you want to do this. Not to say that Brock couldn't, and I would feel better if Brock was playing in this game, but I do feel like there is a world where this is a perfect scenario for his skill set, for what the 49ers need, and for what he's able to provide, which is the stability of knowing, I'm not going to put the ball in harm's way. I'm going to take what's given there. If we punt, we punt. That's cool, but we're not going to turn the football over and over, and I understand to get the ball out. So that's it. I'm not going to be mad at 49ers fans who aren't happy about watching this game. I'm happy about watching any 49ers game because before we know it, we'll have no 49ers games to watch. But I just am fascinated because this game is the antithesis of styles make fights, and sometimes games get weird. And again, I'm going to say it. Have you ever looked up at the scoreboard and said, why is it that this team that is so much far better than this team or has so much more, why are they struggling and getting down to the last minute? It's because certain teams do things that you can't handle, and it can muddy up the game. And the 49ers defensively have a chance to do that with their pass rush and the way that they can operate this offense and slow the game down. That's it.
I like it, Jason. Let's dive into some predictions here. We'll run through the week 5 slate as we've been doing, and then we'll get to the Niner game tonight. Let's start Vikings Browns at Tottenham Stadium out there in London, the same place where the Wolverhampton Wanderers drew with Tottenham 1-1 last Saturday. Had to get that one in there, Jason. First points of the season. Vikings Browns. Who you got?
Man, this game stinks because both defenses are really good. And obviously, Dylan
Yeah.
Gabriel, Godspeed to you, friend, because Brian Flores is coming for you. But on the same side, Carson Wentz, God help you, man. Jim Schwartz and that defense is ferocious. This game is going to be, speaking of icky and gritty, and I'm sad for you. Well, I mean, I'm not sad because it is going to be a very stout defensive game. So if you like defense, then this is your game right here.
Mhm.
And if you like backup quarterbacks, this is your game. I'm gonna go Vikings just because I trust Brian Flores. I think that offense will do just enough. I am a little afraid to play Jordan Mason in this game though because of Cleveland, and I am very, very close to benching him in this game for Rashad White because Bucky Irving's not going to be able to go this week.
My thoughts on Dylan Gabriel are get it, because Shador Sanders. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Jason. I'm going to go Vikings. Raiders, Colts in Indianapolis. The 3-1 Colts coming off their first loss against the Rams, taking on the Raiders, a team who I thought admittedly would be better. They're not very good. That's why I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts in this one.
Colts, man, and you know what? I think it's time we got to start thinking about them differently. They played the Rams down to the wire. Obviously DeForest Buckner's back. Hey buddy, could you imagine him in the 49ers uniform? And who else is playing very well? Charvarius Ward. He is an absolute lockdown guy, man, and that defense has been transformed. So good for him. Yeah, the Colts are legit. They're gonna play at least and keep everything in front of them. And I think honestly, that's just what the Colts are. They're always gonna get a good look at a game. It just boils down to whether the offense can. So yeah, give me the Colts here.
Giants Saints in New Orleans. Maybe some saying the game of the week. Nobody is. Might just be me.
Yeah, you.
It's Jackson Dart making his second career start against the Saints. I'm going to go the Giants. I've said the Saints are going to win a game all season, so I got to stick with it until proven otherwise. So I'll take the New York Giants.
I do think the Giants win too. They're a little bit more realized right now, and they're revitalized, I should say. But I am very impressed with Spencer Rattler, and I do think that Kellen Moore deserves a round of applause for him, getting him to play that well. And Cynthia asked, should I bench Jordan Mason in favor of Scadaboo? I would. Scadaboo, 27 touches. The problem that scares me the most about Mason is that he's giving up the pass work to Xavier Adams now, so he doesn't have that going for him. So if they're stuffing the run, which Cleveland will do, they are very good. Cleveland ended Josh Jacobs' touchdown streak, and that's no accident. That's just because they are that good on defense. I'm very afraid to play Jordan Mason. I'm just waiting for the word that Bucky's not going to play, even though I think he's not. I'm playing Rashad White over him. But yeah, give me the Giants, and they are revitalized. But I do want to give credit to Spencer Rattler and Kellen Moore. He has done a fantastic job with Spencer Rattler, who I admittedly was not high on or think that was very good, but he's playing very solid football.
Dallas Cowboys head up to New York to take on the Jets. Part of me wants to take the Jets just because of it was a big tie for the Cowboys on Sunday night. I don't think Sunday night games should be allowed to end in ties. That's just my opinion. But I don't know. I don't think the Jets are that good. I don't think they're very good. I think I'm gonna I'm gonna take Dallas here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dallas here too. It would be really funny if the Jets won, and it pains my heart. But yeah, Dak's having a fantastic season. That offense, even without CeeDee Lamb, they're still able to move the football. I mean, we all thought that the Green Bay Packers defense was gonna lock them up. Hold on, not so fast. 40 points on your dome piece. So yeah, I think again we've got to give credit to Brian Schottenheimer too. I thought he wanted to run the football into oblivion. Turns out that he realized that he can't do that, and he's just like, hey, I'm gonna let Dak Prescott go off. He's having a really good season, man. So yeah, that offense is gonna roll. I think they're still gonna win this game. So yeah, give me Dallas, even without CeeDee Lamb.
Denver heads into Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Part of me wants to take the Eagles here just because 4-0 undefeated at home. Denver struggled on the road this season. I really like that Denver defense, though. And Philly's offense hasn't really done anything yet to really impress me so far. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go Denver going into Philly with the upset.
The Philadelphia Eagles won a game in which they didn't complete a pass in the second half.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you do whatever you want with that information.
Yeah.
Denver's defense is very good. It's not evidenced by what happened with the Bengals because the Bengals offensive line is the worst in football.
Yeah.
it's hard to bet against Philadelphia because they always
Yeah.
just find a way to win, man. But Bo Nix has been playing a lot better. It's going to be a hard time on the ground for them, but RJ Harvey had a very good game catching the football. They've got a nice 1-2 punch, him and Dobbins, but that secondary is still susceptible. So, I'm pointing to the ways that Denver can win, but my God, every time that we think that they're cooked or whatever, they just find a different way to win, and there is no stat for that, and that is something that is hard to pick against. So I'll go with the Eagles here.
Miami heads to Carolina to take on the Panthers, a battle of 1-3 teams. Miami obviously going to be without Tyreek Hill.
Toilet bowl.
I'm going to take Miami. I like Miami a little bit more than Carolina. I think Miami gets a little bit of a bad rap I think people think they're worse than they actually are. I'm going to take Miami.
Yeah, I got Miami too, and man, Bryce Young has completely regressed again. Like just off of the heels of how well he did at the end of the season to what he has now, and he has Ted McMillan. It just has not looked good at all, man. And just Carolina's back where they started. Unfortunately, Chuba Hubbard's not going to play in this game. So free fantasy advice: if you guys are out there looking for a running back, I know everybody went crazy for Demercado and Michael Carter. Rico Dowdle needs to be picked up ASAP because he's going to start. He's the only running back that has 1,000 yards in that backfield, by the way, in this game. And Miami's defense isn't very good. But yeah, give me the Dolphins. And if you're looking for more fantasy football advice, a trade target that I want is Jalen Waddle because everybody's gonna, it's just gonna be his show, while Tyreek's not in there. So yeah, give me Miami. I think they win this game. 2 wins will calm down the Fire Mike stuff, but Miami's still not that good either. I just want to make sure we throw it out there.
Yes, no, not good. I think that people say they're worse than they actually are. Houston heads to Baltimore. This feels like a loser leaves town game. Baltimore's kind of on the ropes right now, both 1-3.
Kyle Hamilton just got added to the injury report list, by the way.
But the Niners are the only ones hurt, apparently. Jason Aponte.
Right.
I forgot. I was about to take Baltimore. Forgot Lamar's out. I'm gonna go Houston. Just fine. Nice. Yeah. I think that's simple enough.
Yeah, I think Houston has to win this game, right?
Yeah.
And then the funniest thing is the cascading effect of all the injuries, right? And you're like, Lamar's not in there. Do I play Derrick Henry in fantasy? Like, these are questions that people are having right now. Because even when Lamar was there, it's not really going to be there. So, yeah, it's got to be Houston. And if they don't win this one against this depleted Baltimore team, this is the only team in the world that's more hurt than the San Francisco 49ers. And think about, they're not losing their starting quarterback. They're losing Lamar Jackson. That's literally the reason that they were in any of these games at this point. But that defense is decimated. It's got to be Houston, man.
We are going to move on to the next game here. Get in the afternoon slate. The Tennessee Titans head to the Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals.
You're going to take the Cardinals?
Yep. I'm not. Look, man. I know that I enjoyed watching some of the things that Cam Ward has put on tape, and I think that he does have a bright future. However, turning over the play caller from Callahan to whoever the hell it is didn't change shit. That team is awful, man. And it's so hard to watch that offense, man. And Arizona, their defense is very good. And, even if they don't get the reinforcements, they are very good. And that's why 49er fans should be more excited about that win over them because of that defense that they were going up against. So, yeah, man, it's got to be the Cardinals again. The Titans are so bad, man. They are so bad, and they're worse than being bad. They're boring to watch on the offense. I feel bad for Cam Ward because they're doing him no favors over there.
You just said a lot of things, Jason. I'm going to take the Titans because I think they respond to Cam Ward calling them ass. Just plain and simple. That's all I got. I'm sure Matt will be in here being like, "Oh, I had to pick the Titans again." I'm going to take the Titans.
You know what's funny is I see Howdy's comment. Arizona's D-line is ferocious. My God, what if Walter Nolan's good and they get him back? Oh my God. And Gabriel says no Trey Benson. That's not the difference between them losing to the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. Demercado and Michael Carter will be fine. Not tripping about that.
3-1 Buccaneers head up to Seattle to take on the 3-1 Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go Seahawks here. I think Tampa Bay is a little hurt. I know Baker Mayfield has the clutch gene and all that, but I think heading up to the great Northwest up there in the Pacific, I'm going to take Seattle over Tampa.
Yeah, I got Seattle too, man. That defense is so good. Just like we thought. Everybody thought we were overreacting. They're good. Mike McDonald's a great play caller. And Sam Darnold's playing good football. I don't know what you want me to do about it. This is something that you can't argue. And yeah, I do think Tampa's time is coming in this week. No Mike Evans. Godwin back in his second game. That secondary is ferocious. That defense is ferocious. They'll do enough. Baker's been turning the football over a lot. I expect that to continue. Tough place to go up and play and win, even though the 49ers did it in week 1. But yeah, give me Seattle.
Battle of the big cats as the Lions take on the Bengals, and I don't think this game's going to be. I've never seen a team
No,
quit as early as the
no.
Cincinnati Bengals have. The Detroit Lions are going to win this game by a pretty simple margin. I don't know why the Bengals don't make the call for Jameis Winston. I'm going to keep saying it until they do it.
Yeah, the Bengals are cooked, man. Yeah, so it's the Lions in this one. The Lions, Dan Campbell's beating the allegations right now.
Yeah.
You have to start talking about him that way because everybody wanted to see him without Ben Johnson. Well, here it is. And throw out that week one game because week one games are weird. Yeah, that's it.
For Niner fans down in Los Angeles for the game tonight, if you're staying for the weekend, ESPN's website says tickets are as low as $4 for this game. Commanders at Chargers. Jaden Daniels is going to return. I'm going to go Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I'm big on the Chargers this year. The Commanders, their defense a little sussy right now, so I'm going to take the Los Angeles Chargers.
Chargers, man, it has to be a bounce back game. I'm really shocked that they let that game get away from them with the Giants for whatever reason. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one to the Chargers in that defense. I do think they bounce back. You know, Jaden Daniels is back. Debo has a chance to not play in this game, which is not good because Terry McLaurin is not playing. So if he's not there, yeah, this is definitely a Chargers get right game.
Sunday Night Football, Jason Aponte, the New England Patriots head to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Bills introducing their rivals uniform. They're going to be in the all whites. Factually speaking, teams who wear the rivalries uniforms have never lost. 1-0, the Dolphins.
Wait. That's not true.
Oh, the Cardinals wore theirs. Oh my God, I already forgot about that game. I blocked that 1-1. It's bad analytics by me. I'm going to fire my numbers guy. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I got the Bills. Class of the AFC. I don't know,
Yep.
and nobody does more with less than Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs head to the Jacksonville Jaguars and Jason Aponte. I don't know if I am just triggered right now. I am going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars because I really like that defense. It feels silly saying the Jaguars.
No.
If you get over the fact that I'm saying the Jaguars beat the Chiefs, I think it's there.
Man, Xavier Worthy's back. He's absolutely involved. They want to get Rashad Smith involved. Give me the Chiefs. I think Steve Spagnuolo really gets after this Jaguars defense, even though they have a good offensive line. They do schematically do enough things that they can do that. I hate to say it. I think they've been very close in games. I do think that this is one of those Trevor Lawrence boneheaded interceptions game, where he lights the fire of is he even good, talks all over again because he didn't really particularly impress me last week either. 173 yards and it's just yeah, man, fine. Again, turning the golden boy into a absolute game manager, that just goes to show you where they're at offensively. So yeah, give me the Chiefs, man. They need to win very bad.
Benali with a good point here. If the Jags beat Kansas City, no one can make fun of the Niners anymore. So look at that. Just stack up another impressive win.
And it might just be that we have to start to say that the Jacksonville Jaguars are a good team.
I'm ready to say it. I just quit. I just quit the Trevor Lawrence bus, but I get addicted to things real easy, Jason Aponte. So I could be back in on it. So we work our way back from Monday night all the way to tonight, the game we are all here to watch. The 49ers head to Los Angeles to take on the Los Angeles Rams down at SoFi Stadium. Allegedly 61% of the tickets have been bought have been Niner fans, so could be another SoFi South game. Jason Aponte, the Rams are 8.5-point favorites. I think you should not take that because I got the Niners winning 23-17, beating the Rams. I think there's a special teams play that the Niners make. I think Mac Jones plays well, and I think the Niners get the first interception of the season. Give me 23-17 49ers win.
2017 Niners. There's no way they cover that 8.5 spread, man. This game is going to be ugly, icky, but at least we get to watch it in prime vision on Thursday Night Football, which is the best way to watch any sort of football broadcast. And by the way, Amazon, you're not paying. You have enough money, cut the check so we can promote it a little bit better for you. But yeah, 2017, I've got the 49ers. Call me a fool, call me call me a homer, call me optimistic, fine. Call me all those things, but I'm still trying to come at this from a way of schematics, and there's a real pathway to it. It's not me I didn't come on this podcast and tell you guys that I just believe in the 49ers and I'm a fan of the 49ers. I'm laying out the pathway to it. Now, will they follow this? Will it, no game goes, the way that you want it to, but there is absolutely a pathway. And I just seen this team be counted out so many times where there are ways where like everybody's just burying this team. Absolutely not. You're not going to catch that from me. Maybe if this was another team, like if this was another team from another division that wasn't, so familiar, then perhaps I would just say, hey, this is a game over type of game. But because they know each other so well, because the defense is going to be at full strength, there's no way that the Rams cover that 8.5. Just no way. Like that's the easiest money I'm ever going to make in my life.
And there's all the thoughts we have on Rams 49ers Thursday Night Football. Hey, if there's a podcast that you listen to that leaves you feeling as good about the Niners tonight than we have, I would like to hear them because I feel pretty good about it. I wasn't feeling very good about it yesterday, but as I said, my friend Jason Aponte picked me up.
I'll say this, man. I'm not gonna knock what anybody else is saying, but I don't listen to anybody else just because I want to keep my thoughts fresh for myself and everything as well too. But I'm not gonna knock anybody for looking at it this way. Look, I mean, if you're saying, hey, listen, you're down this many weapons, you're on the road, fine, like these are all valid points.
Yes.
But I logistically like am coming at this from a place where I really believe that the 49ers can make this game very close, and as long as you keep it close, and there's a chance that you can make a play at the end of the game, can you ask for anything more from this team? Like that's the way that I'm looking at it. I don't think that the 49ers are going to let this thing get away from them. I also want to point out something else. Last season, when the 49ers had that game in which, Ronnie Bell doesn't catch the pass, again, no George Kittle, no Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk rounding into shape. Juwan Jennings has the game of his life. Purdy played very well in that one. No Christian McCaffrey. Devondre Campbell was playing fucking snaps for the San Francisco 49ers at linebacker. I would say that they've improved there as well too, right? So yeah, and I would say that this defense is overall in better hands than that janitor Nick Sorensen's defense. So again, we're just talking about things that they're better at right now. Again, it doesn't mean that they're world beaters. It doesn't mean that they're going to roll to the Super Bowl. But right now, you are sitting at a team, you're looking at a team that you have played historically close, and the times that you haven't played them close is when you've blown them out. And I would say you're probably better on defense, even if Nick Bosa's not there. I mean, the sum of your parts is not the same, but you have a better linebacker, you have a better defensive mind, and the familiarity is going to keep this game very close, man. So, yeah. They didn't have Puka or Devontae last year for that game. That's true. But Puka had his game against the 49ers, and they only scored 9 points in that game as well, too. Devondre Campbell walked off the field in that game as well. So, look, Puka's the guy that you can't let go crazy. I think Devontae is the one who has a really good game in this game because, like I said, they're going to blitz. They're fine with keeping Renardo Green on the outside by himself. That's where you're probably going to see Devontae Adams, torch a little bit. They'll take their wins and losses, but I don't want to hear this about like who they had and who they didn't. The 49ers were historically banged up in 2024 in both those games. So, like, come on, man. Like, you can't just automatically say one thing because it fits whatever you're thinking right now. Like, we have to look at this as a matchup-based thing, and that's exactly how the 49ers are rolling into this game.
I like that. Perfect way to summarize this episode, Jason Aponte. We like it. We both have the 49ers winning. We will be back talking about this game right after it ends on Instant Reaction. So be sure to come hang out with us right after the game ends, probably about 8:20 West Coast time, 11:20 East Coast time. Jason Aponte putting in the hard work. So make sure you subscribe to his channel. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you like every video Jason Aponte is in because he is the best. He's the best at what he does. And I love talking 49ers football with him. So Jason Aponte, we'll get out of here. We'll give everybody their afternoon. Be excited. Let's go. Have fun. And Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. Tighten up, man. Let's do it.
Let's go Niners. And that's tighten up with a Tighten. Bum.